Fellas, say goodbye to Chuck Sherman the boy. I am now a man. I highly recommend you join the club. We are doing the wild thing all night.
Acid house music.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Sherm.
Sherman, I cook all this food. Is that all you gonna eat?
General Sherman realized and understood the importance of house music.
So, do you know anything about techno?
No.
Listen.
Get it on! Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another brand new episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm, of course, your host, Sherm. Today is Wednesday, February 3rd, 2021. This is episode 146, and I am so excited. I finally got my full podcast studio hooked up, guys. We got every bell and whistle running, and I knew it was time to have my man Apollo XO back on the show for the full experience for episode 146. Now, if you remember, I actually had Apollo XO on back in November 2019, and since then, a lot has happened for him. He's continued to grow his brand, build a massive online live stream audience, and release tons of new music. In episode 146, we discussed 2020 thoughts and perspective. As a top DJ in Chicago and an internationally recognized talent, Apollo has had to deal with the struggles of the music industry since COVID began. He's continued to stay optimistic and motivated, knowing that if you can make it through this time as an artist, there's nothing that can get in your way, and I love that energy. Now, like I said, he's been releasing a ton of new music since I had him on, and I'm talking 10 tracks in a year, guys. XO is an incredibly well-versed producer and has released hip-hop, R&B, trap, house, bass house, and even some left-field lo-fi tracks. We ran through every single one and learned about how tracks like Tokyo Rain featuring Josh Arce, Love with Goodsex, and Posin with Steve Gerard came together. Now, of course, wanted to ask Apollo about the state of the music industry. His season's experience gives him a unique perspective on what state the industry is in. We took a deep dive into the pros and cons on how we are all having realizations on why we got into this industry. It's all about the music, people. Apollo is someone that has earned every stripe and has built an incredible brand on his own will, determination, and love for the game. I have a ton of respect for his hustle and talent, and this is someone that you definitely want to keep an eye out for because he showed me something to release music. Woo! Gonna be a big year for XO, man, and I cannot wait to catch him back in the club when this is all over. Let's get into it right now, guys. This is episode 146 with Apollo XO. All right, everybody. I am so pumped for this interview. We got my man Apollo XO on again.
What do you do?
Dude, it's good to see you, man. It's good to have you back on again. Full setup here. How's it feel to be back in Sherm in the Booth?
I fucking love it, bro. I love the setup. This is so sick. You're official now, bro.
I know.
You're super official.
I know. It's clean.
Like, got your own backdrop. I don't even have a backdrop, bro.
You got a green screen though. You can do whatever you want with that.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the backdrop is cool. Like the green screen's cool, right? But then you gotta like, it's a process because then you gotta go through like getting visuals and shit for it. And
yeah, that's true. Yeah. I remember because I did a live interview with you on Instagram. Like, I don't know when it was. I can't keep track.
It was like at the beginning of the pandemic. It was like in
pandemic.
like March or April. I think.
Yeah, and you were doing a really sick live stream though. Like you learned a lot too in that period of time. And before we got on air, you were telling me how much you like to challenge yourself with the most difficult fucking things to do. Yeah. Master them. Yeah. And you figured that out pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned After Effects in like probably like a week. I mean, I'm obviously not gonna go like make Transformers, you know. But yeah, I learned After Effects within like a week. And then there were a few other video editing and like light editing softwares that I learned. I built the whole Ultra stage. So
yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
Yeah, it was cool. It was definitely cool to do. I think it took like 3 days.
And you had
total.
fire.
I had fire. Yep. So everything was set on a different trigger. So it was cool to do, but the reaction was like, this is cool. Like, you know, like it was like I spent like 3 days of my life like being like everything has to be perfect, and like people were like, oh, this is cool. So that's why I don't do it anymore.
It was hard to impress people in the beginning with the live streams.
Yeah, and I mean it was that's exactly why I did it, because like I wanted like everybody had the just stand in front of the camera or like be on their Instagram, you know, and like I like kind of wanted mine to be funny, like haha, I see what he did there, because I had the crowd in front of me, like you know, and all that shit. So when I did it, I was like, okay, people are gonna totally get this, you know, and then like it's cool, you know. And so I was like, yeah, right, cool.
I know. What is your opinion on live streaming? Just curious. As a DJ,
I mean, I saw an interview with Jazzy Jeff the other day, and I just caught a clip of it, so I didn't watch the whole thing. But he was like, well, like I had to tell another DJ that like if you're not live streaming, like the club promoter and the owners are, you know, sitting at home watching your replacement. And I was like, yeah, I guess if you're an open format DJ who doesn't really provide value, then yeah, for sure. But if you have kind of a brand and like you kind of have, you don't have to have the biggest following, but like, you know, if you can bring people out and all that, like Tao isn't going to hire a guy who live streams on Twitch just because he gets, you know,
100 people to watch.
Yeah, 100 people to watch. Like that's cool, but like, you know, anybody can do that.
It depends then.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so complicated because, like, on one end, like, I feel like that, but then on the other end, like, you do have to provide some type of content, right? Yeah. Like, out of sight, out of mind. So that's why, like, I've started doing, like, studio sessions. Yeah. Like, when I'm working on a track or if I'm, like, finishing up a track, like, I'm either starting a brand new track so people can see that or... finishing a track so people can see like how you put the finishing touches on. Right. Because like the middle, like EQing something isn't fun to watch. Like
you can't even talk.
That's like mind numbing. Yeah. So like I try not to do that, but like providing some type of like content that people can watch and like be in touch with, and like if they feel you, they like see you making a track, like, you know, they're there for it. Like they feel invested in that. Totally. And so it's like it's cool. It's a cooler experience too. But DJing, like, it's weird because like I've always said that DJing on a live stream is substantially harder than DJing in a club, because if I play a song you don't like, all you have to do is click a button to go to the next page or close out the tab.
Order Uber and leave.
You don't have to close out your tab. You don't have to rally your friends. You don't have to order an Uber. You don't have to decide where you want to go next.
I forgot about that life.
Yeah, bro. It's so much easier, you know? So, like, I really think that it's, like, harder to keep an audience on Twitch. Yeah. But it's harder to DJ in real life.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, because I can like slam tracks every 30 seconds if you want, and make them sound good. But you know, or I don't even have to make them sound good on, you know, Twitch. But in the club, like, it has to sound good, bro.
I think what I've noticed, at least from my own experience as well, like even as a DJ who's like done various types of live streams, right? I am trying to like make sure that like I'm not losing the love of DJing. Yeah. You know what I mean? The love of performing. Mm-hmm. Like, I think we can both agree, once you get the skills, you can always improve, but you probably won't lose them. Yeah. At least as a fundamental DJ.
Yeah, it's a muscle memory thing.
Yeah, so, like, when I've, like, had some streams where, like, a lot of people tune in and, like, they're enjoying it. It's, like, a Friday or Saturday night or whatever it might be, and doing donations, and, like, it's awesome, and I'm enjoying it because I'm able to, like, see who's on. And there are other times where I'm like, I feel like you put in a million streams worth of effort, and like 2 people watch, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, straight up. And that's honestly why I stopped streaming for so long. Like, my fucking subscribers probably hate me because like so like when everything happened, when I first switched over from Twitch, because, you know, for a minute I was doing it on Instagram, and I was getting like 200 people tuning in from Instagram, like all over the world too. And I was getting a bunch of people tuning in, and I was like, all right, cool, like, everybody go to Twitch, like, come watch me on Twitch. It's so much cooler over there. Like, you know, and like I got some people to go over, but when I first started streaming, I had like 150 subscribers. Yeah. Like, people, like, paid subscribers, and then like people were tuning in, like Heavy definitely helped me out with that too, because like he was like rating me, and then like, you know, like we were like helping all the DJs out. All the DJs were helping each other build like foundations essentially. And so then time went on, and I was streaming, but then it got to the point where I was like, fuck, I have to stream. Yeah. You know? Yep. Or like, damn, I didn't download any new music. Right. Like,
you don't want to,
you know, because then, especially for me, like, I can remember if I've played a song my whole career. Like I can tell you if you play me a song, I can be like, oh, I've played that before.
Yeah.
Or no, I've actually never played that in my whole 10 years of DJing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like when I have a memory like that with songs, playing the same songs makes me feel like I'm doing exactly that, even though to the viewer, they might not have tuned in for the last stream or whatever. Right. This is a completely new set to them. Right. But even if I'm playing completely different songs or the same songs in a completely different way,
yeah,
I feel like I'm playing the same set all the time. So like it's just, I don't know, it's just annoying. So that's why I got out of it for a while.
Yeah.
And then I came back for a little bit and was like, all right, I'm gonna do every day. And then I was like, no. Yeah. It's energy draining. It starts to feel like a job, you know?
Yeah.
And now I'll just jump on and I just had actually new graphics made so that I can like relaunch and like start doing like my super galactic studio streams and like gaming sessions. And then I'm going to do a DJ stream like once a week, maybe twice, you know? Idea. And cuz then that's not repetitive. You know, it doesn't get repetitive. Exactly. It gives me more time to like find music and not feel rushed about it. You know, throw stuff in a playlist, go through, listen to music throughout the week. Yeah. So
you miss that at all? Just like the getting ready for a gig, like all the preparation, like the whole A to B situation. Because you DJ'd a lot, bro.
Yeah.
Like, before this all hit, you're DJing at least 5 nights a week.
Yeah. When it's that constant, the preparation isn't as much.
That's true.
And the reason why is because I'm really just adding or taking away a song or two from my crate. And like sometimes, obviously, like if I'm playing an open format club and then I'm gonna go play a house club, like there's preparation, you know.
Right.
But if you're playing like open format clubs, you kind of know like, all right, I have to hit this song at least, hit this song. And then like you have your other fill-in songs.
Yeah.
And then like I've been trying to flirt with the line of, I always say that I play like 80% what I want to hear and 20% what the crowd wants to hear.
Oh,
but I feel like it's
though.
I feel like it's pretty good, bro. I've gotten pretty good at it, and I feel like I've done a good job with it, or else I wouldn't be.
I mean, last time I had you on, bro, it was November 2019. I remember you telling me an amazing story about you playing All I Want for Christmas Is You in the summer.
Yep.
And it just working better than a lot of songs that you think.
Yeah.
And I love that story because it was you. You know what I mean? Like, you did it because you were like, I think this is going to work, and I think it's going to be funny, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, fucking
and it fucking worked. Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll always take advantage of situations like that.
Yeah.
And, I'm always going to stay true to myself in any situation. I feel like that's my motto in life. Like, I'm always going to stay true to myself. Like, you know, yeah.
Well, you focus so much more on production, dude. Like, you were just telling me that before we got on.
Yep.
Like, and it's like what I just mentioned. I mean, without a doubt, you are one of the best DJs I've ever met, let alone in Chicago, dude. You've earned your stripes. You continue to get better and better. So you know that's going to be there. But you have taken a focus on production. I mean, in 2020, dude, you released 10 tracks. Lots of different variety.
Wait, did I?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
That's what I'm here for.
Damn.
I'm the reporter.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's really good, dude. Like,
it's a track a month. Almost.
Pretty much. And it's a lot of variety, and it showcases your style, and I think it really is just a testament to what you just said. Like, you're trying to make yourself happy at the end of the day, Apollo. And I love that. When did that, like, shift happen for you mentally?
I mean, just, like, I've never wanted to do this. Like, okay, listen, like, having a jet and, like, you know, flying to a city and they put down the little carpet and it says Apollo on it, you know, like, that's always a dream, right? Like, everybody wants that.
Yeah, I love that.
Having a Lamborghini and, like, a crazy-ass penthouse, like, that's always sick, but, like, I'm not going to get those things at the cost of happiness and, like, me hating my career.
Okay.
I started DJing because I loved it. I love making people dance, and I just loved having fun in general. Yeah. And then production's the same way. I was a producer before I was a DJ.
Right.
I just took a hiatus from producing because I moved to Chicago, and I kind of had to figure it out as a DJ.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, I had to get money as a DJ to be able to support producing.
That's right.
But I think that's just always kind of been in the back of my mind, that I'm always going to be me and always going to do different genres. And I think if I produce different genres, people will be like, oh, well, like, he's an open format DJ, so
right.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people be like, yo, I'm like kind of confused. Like, are you a house DJ? Are you? And I'm like, I'm a fucking open format DJ, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand where the
house.
Disconnect is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's always just been there. There was never like a change in the mindset,
Do you think 2020, like, without having to DJ and do all those things, you've been able to refocus on production since you have more time?
Yeah, I do, for sure. I don't think that, I don't know. I feel like I didn't really gain like a bunch of time in 2020 because my life, it really didn't change much. When you take the average gig, it's 2 hours for me.
Yeah.
So maybe 2 hours, we'll say 3 times a week.
Okay.
That's 6 hours that I lost.
Yeah.
Like that's 6 hours that I gained.
Yeah.
In that 6 hours, cool. Now I can, maybe sleep for 6 hours and use the other, whatever, the other time to, do DJ stuff or produce. But 2020, I feel like for DJs, if they weren't producers, was difficult.
Yes.
But me, I'm a homebody. I stayed at home and I
Yeah.
was producing before, so
The lone wolf.
yeah, it didn't really affect me much except for I don't DJ.
Well, this is a question I actually have for the end, but I'm going to ask you right now. I guess from a creative perspective, for someone who does perform a lot, right? Whether it isn't even is time invested, like if we just take time out of the equation, you're someone who makes music for the most part to play live, to
Right.
play the clubs, right?
Yeah.
Did your creative perspective change when you were in the studio?
Yeah, kind of.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Cause like I make music for the club, right? But like I feel like you can also listen to it just anytime. So
Yeah.
like I think
the
I
goal.
make music with a vision of how it'll work in the club, but
Okay.
I feel like my music isn't specifically designed for the club.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, you have to, as a producer, at least in my experience and people that I produce with, and you've told me
Yeah.
this, right? When you make a song, you picture it where it would be played.
exactly.
And so many times when you're making a track, you're like, damn, this is going to fucking slap at Spy Bar.
Yeah.
Damn, this would do so well at a beach in Ibiza.
Yeah.
Damn, this would be so sick to play as an opening track.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%.
But I think what we're finding out with music producers in 2020 and 2021, you see a lot of guys kind of going left field, going outside their comfort zone, so to speak, outside their brand. And I think it's awesome because who gives a fuck about that shit anymore?
Yeah.
Make music that you love making. Yes, picture yourself in a scene, wherever it might be played.
Yeah.
But if you can toe the line of this is streamable on Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you're going to stream, Apple Music, but this is also playable.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to find success.
I agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt the whole time about the situation is like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to release whatever. The one thing that I do focus on though is like not releasing too many like of the same genre in the row.
Yeah, definitely.
Specifically hip hop music.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to release hip hop tracks like back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Cause for some fucking reason, bro, and I'll never understand this. If you play hip hop and you're like a house DJ like me, or like, an open format DJ,
Right.
you get like pigeonholed or labeled as like a hip hop DJ, and it's just weird to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. But yeah, that's the only thing I really care about is order of release.
Yeah.
I try to space them out, yeah.
So, I guess from a production standpoint as well, do you stack tracks? Like, do you have like a hip hop week where you're like, I'm really feeling this, I'm gonna save this for another time? Because I know, like, for at least like your track with Steve Gerard, Posin, I know that one took a while to come out.
Yeah.
Did you release that at a time when you said, I've released enough hip hop tracks, like it's time for a house track now?
We released Posin in March, right? I think that was I think he was just done.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need a release.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's how it goes, you know. You're like,
yeah.
hey, Steve, you want to release this? He's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. You
Yeah,
know?
sounds like Steve.
Yeah. So then I called Tiny Jag, and I was like, hey, you want to release this? And she, in her release schedule, she had an album coming out, so it had to release in March.
Okay.
Because she was starting album promo in April.
Right.
So I wouldn't have got anything from her, essentially. She would have been like, hey, the track's out, but like I wouldn't have gotten anything else. And like I didn't want her to like have to bounce between a single that has nothing to do with like how the rest of her shit sounds, you know?
Oh, yeah?
And then it's completely different.
That's the first time I heard the name.
That was just a random track that we did together. She's a friend from college, actually.
Yeah?
So yeah, she's a friend from college.
That's awesome.
I actually met her. She worked at a sunglass hut, and I worked at FYE in the mall. And she came in to like buy the Kendrick Lamar "Good Kid, Mad City" album, and I was the one who like cashed her out. And like I used to see her in college and stuff. Yeah, so like we just became friends, and all of a sudden in college when I was like producing, she was like, hey, will you like make me a beat? Like I kind of want to get into rapping. So like I went over to her house, like tried to make a beat live, and like I wasn't really that great back then, so like nothing ever worked out. And then like probably 3 years later, ended up sending her a beat when she like officially kicked off her rap career. It was her first single. I don't even think she has it out anymore. But yeah, and then we just happened to be in LA at the same time, and I was like, yo, come through. I was playing her tracks, and I was like, yo, what do you think about getting on like some like cool kind of weird house thing? And she was like, let's fucking do it. And so I was like, but it'll be like a hip hop track though.
It is a hip hop track.
Yeah, it's like a hip hop bass house track. So that's how that whole thing happened. I like trick artists into like thinking that they're gonna be on like hip hop tracks, and I'm like, haha, it's a house track. But no, she knew what it was. She was actually, she fucked with it super hard. But yeah, that's how it happened, and then that's why I released 3 tracks in March, because they all had certain release schedules. Yeah,
bro, for sure. I mean, and seriously, like 2020 was a big year for you. Like 10 tracks in a year with all this variety here. I mean, let's run through them, bro. Like. Got You with Josh Arce.
Yep.
I know you mentioned him before. He's under the same management group as you, right? Is Jesse still managing you?
No.
But Josh was, at that point, he was managed. You guys were together.
Yes, right? Yep. Yeah.
Well, Josh is an incredibly talented singer.
Incredibly talented.
I'm going to tell you that. I mean, this is an underrated EXO track, in my opinion, bro.
I think so too, bro.
It really is. It was fire.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Because his voice, like, and we'll talk about Tokyo Rain in a sec, too. But you got hip hop, R&B. There's trap fusion here, man. Like this has got a little bit of everything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like what makes a song really, really special. At least when you have somebody like Josh on a track. Did you finish that track, send him the beat, or how collaborative was that?
Dude. So Josh came to my house. So, I met Jesse, and then like a day or two later, I was in the studio. I was at Private Stock getting Supernova mixed and mastered.
Yeah.
And Jesse texted me. He was like, yo, I want to introduce you to Josh. So I was like, pull up on me. I'm at the studio right now.
Yeah.
So they pulled up on me, and then we went back to my house afterwards, just running through stuff. And I was just kind of trying to get a sense of what Josh was into. And I was like, hey, dude, like, I, as a DJ, my thing is kind of putting artists on shit that they've never been on before.
Yeah.
And kind of bending and blending genres together. So he was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And that day, I had, you know the song Bills by Destiny's Child?
Yeah.
So the drums on Got You and everything at the beginning, I had made a remix with the synth line. Or the lead in Bills.
What?
And so I just took that off there because Josh liked it, but obviously we're not gonna clear a Destiny Child sample. Right. So then I have an electric guitar in my studio, and Josh plays guitar really well.
Nice.
So he picked that up and gave me a guitar loop, and that's the lead that you hear in there. So that track was made like that day almost.
That's awesome.
Within like 2 days of meeting each other, yeah.
That's, you know how special that is when that happens.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't happen every time.
Yeah, and then we sent it out to my boy Ferbs. Shout out my engineer Ferbs.
Yeah.
And he just crushed the mix on it.
Dude, it's so dope. Like I think, I mean, at least out of all your releases in my chair, like, it's underrated.
I appreciate that, man.
I love
Thank you.
that. Dude,
I don't play it enough either. I need to play it more.
That, like, one of the first songs, trap songs, of course, is like original Donna Flasher-Damas remix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I heard that like my freshman year in college, and I just was like, wow, like what is this sound?
Yeah.
Right? You know, these big builds and these like, but like it feels like a slow drop, but just because of the sound design and like the bass, it's so quick almost, but like you get into it.
Yeah.
And when I heard "Got You" today, because I hadn't heard it in a little while, I was like,
oh, you put it on?
Dude, it took me back. So it was.
It's so weird too because I don't want to go in on this track for too long, but when we were making it, we were sitting next to each other, and we had it figured. Like we had the vocals, we had the beginning, and then the drop.
Yeah.
And we were like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
So each of us, what I like to do with artists is I'll be like, all right, we're each gonna put on headphones.
Yeah.
And we're each gonna do something to the track.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
I have no clue how I came up with that drop. No clue how it worked. All I know is I was scrolling through presets and I tweaked the preset a little bit, but it's definitely a preset, but I tweaked it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, how cool would it be if we took this big room synth and like put it on this trap drop?
There we go.
You know, like, and that I was like, it's like big room trap, bro. Like it's
it is big room trap. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's like really close to like an RL Grime.
Yeah.
Almost. That is I think an RL Grime song is the reference that I sent to my engineer.
For sure. I mean, I think that's why I got those vibes.
Yeah.
Love that track.
I love RL, so.
Me too. Yeah. Guilty pleasure. Tokyo Rain. I mean, I remember when you released this, actually. I think you sent it to me directly, or you sent it to me before it was released. And I was like, this is like cutting edge shit. Yeah. I truly believe like it's cutting edge shit, and I still think it is because it's a personal favorite. Like I put it on all my playlists.
Really?
You know, like when you get songs, somebody sends you a song and you immediately like it.
Yeah.
I immediately like this track, bro.
Thank you, bro.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And like, I may not be Zane Lowe, but I'd like to think I've heard enough music to consider what's good and what's bad and what's great. And in my eyes, this was great because it showcases your range of producer. And then from hearing Got You and then listening to Tokyo Rain right after, I was like, okay, this is actually showcasing Josh's style as well. Yep. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it wasn't that you guys went outside your comfort zone, so to speak, but it seems like you guys were like taking risks.
Yeah, we kind of that track is weird too because that was another one where we were just in the studio and I had the beat and I'd sent the beat to a few other producer friends and they were like, you need to send this to Lil Uzi. Yes. I had a lot of people tell me that. They were like, you need to get this to Lil Uzi. Yeah. You need to sell an organ if you need to get it to him. And I was just playing it. And the beat, it was titled Tokyo Rain at the time too. And so, you all right? You got it.
Went down the wrong hole, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So no, the beat was titled Tokyo Rain, and I was just playing beats again, and Josh just started freestyling.
And this was after Got You, like, not even in the same session or month. Because like, obviously you guys like got into a flow. Yeah. It was probably like the month that we released Got You. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, it was probably in January that, it was probably in January. Right now, no, that's all good. I'm coughing, I'm getting all good. Yeah, it was definitely in January that we got on, that we made Tokyo Rain, yeah. Okay. Tokyo Rain was another one that was like in the span of like a few days. Where did the name Tokyo Rain come It's so clean. Like, it's so sick.
Yeah. Well, that was the name of the beat. That's what I titled it when I made it. And
That came
it was,
to you?
Yeah, it was from
A video game?
I'm really into
Here we go.
the Tokyo, like the night street like pictures.
Yeah, dude.
Or, you know, like Tokyo at night, like
Yep.
or like the little 8-bit animations or 16-bit animations.
Oh, yeah.
And the synths in there sound like 8-bit synths.
Yes.
So that's kind of where I was like, and the cover was actually originally I was trying to, because I did the cover. I do almost all my cover arts too.
It's so cool.
And when I was working on the cover art, I wanted to make it like an 8-bit like Tokyo nighttime.
Yeah.
But my graphic abilities at the time just did not inhibit me to be able to. But yeah, so that's where the name came from, just the 8-bit like whole.
I love it,
Tokyo
man.
thing.
That's cool to know that you literally do it like front to back, though.
Yeah, I mean, I try to have as much involvement as I can on
Yeah.
tracks, just because like if I'm not in control of the whole track, it bugs me.
Yeah.
Because it's my creation, you know what I'm saying?
sure.
So like if somebody's like does something different, or like I said, when like collaborating, like that's why I don't necessarily like collaborating unless it's my idea.
Right.
Because I can't, everybody's what is it called? Like everybody sees things and hears things differently.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
if I'm not in control front to back, then there's a chance that my idea doesn't come to life.
Yeah, absolutely. I respect that. Tokyo Rain Fire track. Okay, and we talked about this one actually right before we went on air. Love with Goodsex featuring Elena. I mean, again, in my eyes, like this is a wow track. It's really, really well written. Like from a sound design perspective, lyrical perspective, it's like Kaigo funk.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Yeah. Dude.
It's fun. It's boppy, dude. It's like, and knowing Goodsex style, right? For those who don't know, like very new age funk, new disco type stuff, right? And then we get Apollo XO involved.
Yeah.
And it really like recreates what we think new disco can be.
Yeah.
Just get your house elements in there.
Yep. That's interesting because I felt like Elena hated me a little bit because we did a track 5 years ago called Take Me Down, and it never released, and it's never going to release ever. And I mean, maybe it'll release, but it's 5 years old at this point.
Okay.
But so it never released, and then I sent her, that song was actually originally called Midnight City. So I sent it to her. She sent me the vocals back, and I sat on it for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
With no plan of release. And then I was just like, yo, I need to do something with this. Like, what's going on? The track was like at 80% pretty much, but I was like, it needs something that I can't provide to it. And I was like, who do I know that would like sound like do a good job with this? And that's when I sent it to Goodsex. And immediately Colin was like, I love this. And we were in the studio. He came to my house, got in my studio, and we knocked it out, I think, within like a week of him like going back and forth. Because my idea was pretty much already done.
Right.
And then so it was just him adding his elements. He redesigned some of the sounds and made them like more happy, or I guess if you would.
I think that's described exactly. Yeah.
More loving. There you go.
Yeah, there
Because
you
it's
go.
called love.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's an interesting track. I like that track a lot.
I like that track a lot too.
And then I don't know if you saw, but Elena, she had changed her phone number, and I had her phone number. I had her new one and her old one, and I texted her old number, and I sent the track. I was like, hey, here's how the new track sounds. What do you think about this? And the person responded and was like, yo, you have the wrong number, but I'm a music therapist from, it was like Norway or the Netherlands or some shit. And this track's beautiful.
Wow.
And I was like,
I didn't.
That's fucking lit.
Wow.
Yeah. I
What
still
a
have the
cool
screenshot
story.
for that. I almost want to like print it out and frame it.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, so that track it's super cool because like Goodsex, they're really talented too. Yeah. So like anytime I get a chance to like work with somebody who like I've wanted to work with for a while, that's always cool.
Yeah, I love those guys, man. Yeah. That's awesome. But Supernova with Ezekiel. Let's talk about this one, because this is that shit right here, man. This is boppy deep house, like sexy vocals, great progression in the production. Like, the track front to back really tells a story to me. You're not just like making some track here.
Yeah.
This is not like what we were talking about, like a template Michael Beebe, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this was creative, dude.
Yep.
Did you have the instrumental done here before you got with Ezekiel, or how did this one work out?
So, that I moved to LA in 2018.
Yeah.
For 3 months.
Right.
And Ezekiel drove with me to LA.
Did he?
Yeah, because he was my roommate here at the time when I lived in the suburbs.
Right.
So he drove there with me, and then we made the track, and we got that vocal in like one night, pretty much. Well, not the vocal, but we made the beat. We made that first part that you hear.
Yes.
Until the trap drop.
Okay.
All in one night.
Yeah.
We sat on that song for a year. There's 12 different.
Sitting on songs for a year, don't
There's
you?
12 versions of that song.
12 fucking versions.
There's 12 versions. I didn't ever think that song was gonna come out. Until one day we just got in, we ironed it out.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't figure out what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, do we put a second verse on it or like what? And I was like, let's just reuse the same vocals over.
Yeah.
You know? I like doing that a lot, especially when the vocal's so good.
Vocals so good.
And then I was like, dude, like we should just span genres on this one. Because, you know, you have, like you said, like it sounds like it's going to be like an R&B record, and then it's like an R&B deep house record into like a deep house R&B trap. And then into UK, like Deep House UK.
It was boppy Deep House, and like that was even still far from what it really was.
Yeah. The problem with that track though is that nobody knows what playlist to put it in. Yeah, I mean, straight up when I submit it to playlists or like, I mean, I have this thing where like I secretly want to release everything independently, but I just like send it to labels just to be like, I wonder if I can get this on a label.
Yeah,
you know?
why not?
And everybody would come back, even in like playlists, Spotify playlists, and they'd be like, we're deep house playlists. This is hip hop. And then all the hip hop playlists would be like this deep house.
Right.
And so like when you're blending genres like that, you don't have a home.
That's true.
It's very difficult.
But at the same time, sometimes a weakness, or at least defined by the labels, can be a strength in and of itself.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I play the record all the time. I love it. And people like it in the club.
How labels kind of like I don't know if you ever heard of him before. His name's King Arthur, and he is a house producer. And he had a track that was sent to some big label. I think it was a Spinnin'.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He sent a track to Spinnin', and they said, "No, we don't like this. This isn't like what we want to release." You know what I mean? And it kind of was genreless, so to speak, or like didn't fit like you're talking about here. He ended up releasing it on another label, and it absolutely fucking blew up. Yeah. And they reached out to him and said, what else music do you have? Yeah. And I think that's, I want to ask you about that kind of since we're on it. You're someone who does self-release a lot. Yeah. What are the reasons that you like to?
Well, I keep all my money. that would be number one.
I think
that's not number one, but it's
something to consider.
That's definitely a consideration. And labels, usually when you tend to get labels involved, they like try to change the vision of the record and
10 revisions of shit.
The record that I played for you that we have coming out, I think it's actually going to come out in March, Pele Grossa. Okay. The bass house Brazilian one. Yes. Don't know too much. My boy sent that to a label, and the whole record's it's like Spanglish, but it's like a lot more Spanish than English for sure. Yeah. But a label hit him back. I think it might have been like Night Bass or something. Yeah. Hit him back and was like, hey, you guys should put more English in this record. And I was like, I didn't make this record for fucking Tao. Like, I made this record for the favelas of Brazil. Yes. Like, stop trying to whitewash my fucking record, bro. And that's, I mean, you know, that's just what it is. Because labels do that a lot. Yeah, they want what's marketable, but like they're forgetting that Brazil and Latin America is a whole fucking continent. You know, Brazil's not a continent, but like, you know, Latin America, yeah, like that's a whole market, and it's bigger than any other market in the world right now.
Is it?
Yeah, The Latin market is the biggest music
'cause you
market
look
in
at
the
Bad Bunny.
world. Bad Bunny's the number one most streamed artist on Spotify for the last
fucking
year.
crazy, and that's something that I
It
think
doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me either, and I still think for whatever reason it's underrated or underconsidered by most people.
Yeah, bro, I can go to a club and play nothing but Latin music most of 90% of the time, and they'll go crazy.
Latin music.
So do I. Bro, that's why I produce so much of
Yeah,
it.
it's so
I
good.
just played you like six Latin
I
records.
love that shit, man. It makes you move. Like
Yeah.
Latin music it's for dancing.
Yep.
And that's it.
It is for dancing.
I love that.
Yeah, I love it.
Gosh. Okay. Now this one, "Move" with Some Kid. I mean, yes. Such a dope sample too. I think it's pretty common, but how you used it, great job, bro.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that a Pharrell sample?
It is a Pharrell sample, but we're gonna stay quiet about it because it's not a cleared sample.
I don't think he watches. But if you do, Pharrell, let me know if you want to come on.
Pharrell.
I mean, you went in on this track, man, because it's a club hitter. Bass house is on point here. Were you trying to get some demons out of you? Because, like, at these previous tracks that we were talking about, this isn't exactly Love with Goodsex.
That's another year. It's a year and a half, maybe. Track.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I made that on a bus coming back from Cleveland.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had played it forward, and I like saving money, and I didn't have a car at the time, and I didn't want to fly, but I'm trying to think. I had my girlfriend and my boy Darian, I think, with me.
Yeah.
And we just hopped on the bus out to Cleveland. It was like the mega bus or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's like 5 hours. You pass out most of the time. It's like quick. And then on the way back after the club, I was just still feeling lit because Forward, shout out to Forward nightclub.
Yeah. Is that the outdoor place?
Yeah, Dante spot.
Dude, that place
And
is so
it is
sick.
insane. It was the first like mega club that I'd ever played at. And it's outdoors, so you feel like Tiesto when you play there.
You look like Tiesto. That
Yeah, and you
place,
look like Tiesto. And so I was just like so juiced still from the night before.
Yeah.
And I love like the Jaws style, like bass house. Like
For sure.
I love like that hard like house, you know. So that's what I made, and then I sent it to some kid. Man, I had it sitting for a long time again, and it needed something, and I was like, fuck, I don't know what I can provide to this that would make it better.
Yeah.
And then he came in with the slam dunk.
It's dope, man.
Yep.
It's dope. And I'm glad you kind of got that one on your resume because that one works well in the club.
Yeah.
Like, you play
Yep.
the club. Now, Dreams, featuring Drew the Kid.
Yep.
This one, really creative, and I definitely got the Got You vibes a little bit
Yep.
here. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you produced this one around the same time or inspirationally, but the builds and breaks, but it's a different drop and an overall feel. I mean, Future House, dude.
Yeah.
You're not producing Future House, at least like from what I've seen here or what I've known about you. Did you go outside like where you usually are finding your inspirations here, or where were you at creatively when you made this track?
So that Dreams is an interesting one because Dreams is actually the first track that Drew and I ever worked on together.
Really?
So if you remember, he's also on Function.
Yes.
So Function happened in the same session that Dreams happened in.
No way.
So we
There we
were
go.
originally in the studio recording Dreams,
Mhm.
recorded Dreams, and I just played Function, and he was like, "This is hot. I like this." And then Function was pretty much done at that point. It's
Right.
just like drums and bass the whole time,
Right,
pretty
right.
much, you know. So put that out, and then sat on Dreams because we didn't have a name for it,
Yep.
and it was also just kind of like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I don't know how to finish this. And then I just sat down one day, and over the year that I had that track too, like I learned a lot of production. So yeah, we put that out.
So, I mean, what I'm getting from you, at least at this point, is a lot of these tracks that I've mentioned you've had for a year.
Yeah.
But you were getting a lot better as a producer during that time.
Yeah.
Were you going back into these tracks and cleaning them up on new things you've learned?
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
plugins,
Dreams.
like sound design.
Sound design,
Everything.
and maybe I'm really particular. I'm like anally particular about the way my drums sit, or like little sounds, and
Yeah.
like it's pretty bad. But yeah, so I was going back in and cleaning things up, re-listening 100 times to make sure I didn't hate it. And then, I mean, that's pretty much what I was doing. In that year, 2018 was a big year for production for me, like learning production, because I spent that 3 months in LA.
Right.
And pretty much all I did every day was make beats. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I do now is make music and games. So, you get a lot better when you do that all the time.
For sure. And I love your motivation on that, man, because not a lot of people are able to, like, say, okay, it's time to work, it's time to get better.
Yeah.
Usually you kind of have to even collaborate, and I know how working with other people, like, you like to have your vision.
Yep.
So I think that's a huge strength of yours.
Thank you, bro.
That. But Dreams, great track. Also, shout out to the cover art. Did you make the cover art on that?
I did make
Chicago
the cover
Theater,
art.
baby.
Yes.
Right here around the corner.
Yep.
I
made
love that
cover
shit.
art. Yeah.
Nice job.
Thank you, man.
Nice job.
It was a
snowy night too. Like in that picture, it literally is like how it is outside right now.
Yeah, it was. I just like couldn't. Sometimes you just can't imagine something, or like you can't think of. Because Dreams, like we could have called that track really anything.
Yeah.
And usually there's a word in the track that it's named after, and that's not the case for that one.
Yeah.
So it was really just like me sitting for like 10 days and being like, fuck. Like I played with a few different cover arts. I played with one where it's just all black and in like white got milk font, like Dreams, Apollo XO, and and I was like, that's just kind of cliche. And then I was like, I wonder if I can Photoshop our names onto the Chicago Theater marquee. And so I spent like an hour like doing the little coloring, like the little marquee.
When you go down to the little tiny squares.
Yeah, spent like an hour doing that for
that's
like
when
all
you
the
care,
squares.
guys.
Yeah.
That's when you know. Take notes.
So that's
zoom in all the way on Photoshop.
Yeah, when each color just becomes a little little square. Yeah, so that's what I was doing, and then I threw a few textures on it to give it that real grainy effect, and sent it to him, and he was like, "Yo, it's fire."
Fuck yeah, bro.
So
I love that attention to detail. Okay, we mentioned Posin already. I just want to acknowledge this one again. Great track.
Thank you.
I think I actually played it because you guys definitely had that done well before. Because I played it in like my best of 2019 mix or something.
Yeah, I appreciate that too.
Great track. Shout out to Steve, very talented producer. Just like real quick, like from working with someone like Steve Gerard, who is so multi-talented in different genres, was that a learning experience for you?
Yeah, because I think up until then I hadn't worked with another house DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that was my first time, and Steve's kind of like an OG in the game.
He is.
He's definitely somebody that I look up to as far as like how much he puts out and like his knowledge of music and production. So he heard that. I sent it to him. He heard it, and he was like, "Come to the studio with me, and we'll clean this up."
At Music Garage?
And then, And he was like, "We'll clean this up." And so he did a lot. He definitely added the sauce for sure. And we rearranged a few things, and we did the arrangement really came from like the house DJ standpoint, of like how, and that's what it needed. So like breaks and builds and all that. So
yeah, and I mean in one way or another, like you guys are similar because like he releases dubstep. Yep. You know how much he loves rap music too.
Yeah.
Like hard rap.
He always says he wants to play like a hip hop set with me, and I'm like, I don't play hip hop sets, so I don't know why you want that from me, but
he does love rap music though.
He loves it. I love how much he loves it too, and he doesn't love like fake, the baby. It's not a fake love. He loves like Shoreline Mafia and Suicide Boys, which I love Shoreline Mafia and Suicide Boys too, so it's perfect.
It just goes to show, like, not everybody can get along with Steve Gerard, but if you do, your best friend.
Yeah, I love him. For sure.
That's awesome, man. Now, Eyes, this is one we mentioned as well. This one was a label release for you with Mimo on No Face Records. So I know you kind of came in towards the latter part, kind of like how you involved other producers, though. Mm-hmm. What was that like for you as someone who usually starts with the track, sends it to people? Were you kind of just like, okay, do I want to go back and maybe like redo where the root should be in this song?
Yeah.
Or how hard was that for you, if it was at all, to go in and say, I want to add my spice?
It was kind of difficult for me because that was the first time that I had been asked by another DJ, like a prominent DJ, because Mimo's got I think he crossed over 1 million Spotify listeners.
Really?
In 2020.
That's awesome.
Maybe. I think I could be wrong on that. It was either 1 million or 500,000.
Shout out Cleveland, right?
Yeah, but he's a really good guy too. So I definitely wanted to do it justice and not ruin his track.
Yeah.
And that's usually, like I told you earlier, like I usually wouldn't collab, or like I'd take a really light step into somebody's track if they sent it to me and were like, yo, let's collab, because I don't want to mess up their track, you know?
Yeah.
So it was pretty difficult for me, especially being the first time. It took me like a week. Yeah. Probably. So when usually it would not take me a week. But yeah, I mean, it was cool. He liked it. So the song's out. It sounds good. So I guess I didn't fuck it up.
It's good, man. It's cool because it's like, it's a slower bass house, but it's harder than tech house.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a
tech
very,
bass.
yeah, it's a tech bass. Yeah, like that. It's a very like small window there.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yep.
So you guys did a great job on that.
Thank you.
I love that, man. Now, second to last year, options with backs. This one goes fucking off, dude.
Yeah.
This is like Metro Boomin and Juice WRLD shit.
Yeah.
Like, you snapped.
Thank you.
You really did, man. Like, the beat, the lyrics, the overall composition. What was the story on this one?
Sometimes I just get in these, like... Sometimes I get in the hip-hop mode.
Yeah,
like,
that's
you know,
what I'm
like,
saying. Like, this
yeah.
one was not, like, Got You or Tokyo Rain.
Yeah,
or, like,
yeah.
This one was no drop, straight fucking hard beat.
Yeah.
Great lyrics, everything.
Thank you. Man, I can't even remember why I made that. I think I was just in my hip hop mode, and I made that. And actually, he's managed by Jesse.
Okay.
So, I had sent it to Jesse, and they were in LA at the time, and he was like, "Yo, this is fire." And then I guess he played it for Bax, and Bax was like, "Yo, I got something for this," and he sent it back, and it wasn't intended for Bax to get on, but I mean, I was like, it's fire, so I'm not gonna deny.
Yeah.
You know, because like, what's the chance I'm like actually gonna get it to like Travis or like somebody like that? You know, like it's pretty slim. Like, it can be done. Like, I know Chase, and like, but
You know Chase B?
Yeah. I mean, we're on the same DJ roster together, and then like I played with Travis and I played with Chase, I think.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that actually.
3 times. So like, I don't like, I have his number, and like we're cool enough to like text, but I'm not like going to his birthday party.
So how difficult it is, I guess, from an outside perspective, right? Let's say if we're an electronic music producer, if I want to get a track in the hands of Tiesto, what is it compared to getting a beat in the hands of Travis Scott?
It is
Same?
substantially harder to get a beat to a hip hop artist than it is to a DJ and producer.
Why is that?
You know, I don't really know. You know what? Actually, I think it's because if I'm giving a beat to Travis Scott, he like, people send him beats to record on. Like, I don't think people send Tiesto beats to record on. You know, I'm trying to like make this make sense in my head, but it's really that Tiesto. Like, if you're sending a track to Tiesto, you maybe might want him to play it, or like, you know what I'm saying. I guess Tiesto's more accessible.
That is kind of the thing, right? If I'm a DJ, I could play your music or collaborate on it. And if I'm a rapper, all I can really do is rap over
on it. Yeah, and pretty much. And then you're asking him to release the song. Like, Travis has to release the song. He's got to record on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where Tiesto, I'm just like, hey, listen to my track.
You know, play in his radio show, and also in an American market as well. I feel like it's a lot different too, right? Like, electronic music crosses borders.
Yeah, and hip hop's just weird, bro. Like, in general, just like, there's a lot of dudes who, like, I don't know, like,
tell us.
Cock blocks. I mean, that's the best way to describe it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wants something, and I feel like in dance music, it's not. I mean, it's still like that a little bit, but not as much like that in hip hop. They're like, you know, you give a beat to somebody, and they're like, oh yeah, I'll play this for Travis.
Right.
And then, like, if it's not presented in the right way, you know, like,
what kind of mindset are they in, right?
Yeah, like, what kind of mindset is he in right now? Like, did you tell him that you think this one's fire? Like, did you really sell him on it?
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, I'd rather, like, I'll send my beats out, and like, if I get a placement, that's fucking sick.
Right.
But like, I'm not basing my career around getting placements.
So, I guess, do you feel like since you do have the ability to produce both hip hop and electronic music, so to speak, do you think that also differentiates you like on a long-term scale? Because there are so many hip hop producers out there that just make hip hop beats, and there are a lot of dope hip hop and rap producers, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like some of these tracks out there,
Oh yeah, they're fire.
they're fire.
Yeah, I hear a track every day. I'm like, fuck, I wish I would have thought of that.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And like that's a really cool thing. Why like I also love like interviewing people like you and also rappers and stuff, because how they think about music is a lot different than how electronic music producers think about it.
Yeah, you can tell when somebody started in electronic music and is trying to make hip hop.
Yeah, and vice versa too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, do you see the bridge connect if you start in hip hop and go to electronic, or is it one or the other?
I think you have better drums and a better understanding of bounce.
So true.
And like, you know, movement if you start in hip hop.
If you look at someone like Diplo too, right?
Mm-hmm.
He started in hip hop.
Yeah. Yep.
He's when he makes that Major Lazer shit.
Yeah.
And he has that percussion and he's able to slow it down and then speed it up.
Exactly.
I think that's why he's really, I mean, it's so cool. And I think we both know that house music is the best for so long.
Yep.
But it's so great to see people like Diplo and, I mean, like Alesso, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Making house music. Dude.
Yeah,
like
it's so
tech
awesome.
House.
Yeah, it's sick.
Tech house. Like, we're not just like making a mainstream, let's just call it, like, Duke Dumont obviously makes tech house, but let's just say this is not I Got You. Like, they're literally making tech house tracks.
Yep. Yeah, when Diplo released On My Mind, I was like,
that song changed the game.
This song's so good.
Changed the fucking game.
Yeah, you know what really hyped that up, though, was the video that he posted on his story of him and MK.
Oh, yeah.
Playing it.
Oh!
If he wouldn't have released that video, the song wouldn't have been as big.
You talking about when they did that back-to-back set?
Mm-hmm.
God damn. You got a good memory, because I forgot about that. And when I saw that, I was like, what is that?
Yeah, I DM'd him. I was like, what song is this? I DM'd both of them. I DM'd Diplo and MK. I was like, I need this.
Because you know what's funny? You can see MK in that video kind of being like...
Holy shit.
Doing the MK like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, what is this track?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
And that song is so cool. I think this is kind of why Beatport fucking pisses me off sometimes, because they categorize songs incorrectly.
Yeah.
That song was like number 1 on Bass House in Beatport for so long. It probably still is in the top 10. But like, it shows also at the same time that house and tech house and bass house, it's all house. Right?
Yeah.
So how are these all meshing together to kind of create either this new genre, or can we just all finally put it under the same umbrella, have subgenres, but all come to the agreement that like it's all kind of like the same?
Yeah. It's weird that I'd look at you pretty weird if you were like, I'm a bass house DJ.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I get that like your style might be more tech heavy or bass heavy, but like they're the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Kind of.
That's what
like
I'm saying.
kind of.
Right.
They're obviously not. You can tell the difference between them, but like at some point they start to blend together, and it's like, this is like tech bass. Just call it house.
Tech bass.
Yeah, just call it house.
Just
But I think I don't know, because like then if you start calling everything house, then like actual house music, like, you know, like the I don't know,
like Chicago style house.
not even that, but like I'm trying to think who makes like actual like house music. Like when I think of like actual house music, I think of like maybe like Sonny Fodera.
Sonny Fodera?
Yeah, like I feel like I don't even know, not even him. All right, let's move on from this. Cuz I can't think of like an actual name of the song. It's like leaving me.
When I think of actual house music, I think of Cashmere.
Okay, yeah. That's a good
old
example.
School Green Velvet,
Yep.
Frankie Knuckles type stuff. You know, the ooh, ah, ee, ooh, or whatever it
Yeah,
is, like
yeah, yeah.
Ron Carroll type shit.
Yep.
Like Chicago OGs.
Yep.
Maybe it's just because, like, I'm Chicago deep rooted. But then if you expand upon that, everything, the foundation of all of these genres are based off that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it really just is an interesting time in electronic music right now with what's happened in the pandemic and stuff. But I think house music, I talk about it all the time, it's always been on this trajectory.
Yep.
Always up a little bit. we saw. I just mentioned Original Dawn, Flosherdamus, bro. That 2012 shit. Boom.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys lasted, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like if you look like someone like Diplo and Alesso and Tiesto, like they know that, like, and Steve Aoki too. Big room, boom. Unfortunately, as much as I have a soft spot in my heart for progressive house,
I hate progressive house.
I used to love it.
I hate it.
In 2011, I used to love it. I don't play it anymore. But it did that too, right? And there are always some that are going to continue because they're diehards, right?
Yeah. What's your favorite progressive house track?
Probably Lose My Mind. Alesso and Sebastian Ingrosso.
Oh, okay.
But, and it's funny too because progressive house now it's like Beatport categorizes it as like a deep melodic house.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Art Bat.
Yeah, it's weird when you start trying to categorize all this shit because it's like every song could have like 5 genres alone, you know?
Exactly.
I think Swedish House Mafia is the only progressive house that I can probably tolerate.
Yeah, and that's because they were
They were huge.
They were huge. They defined the genre.
Yeah.
Anyway, we probably need to do another podcast about it. We're here to talk about Apollo.
Yeah.
Last but certainly not least, bro, and this one I think is so special because it is truly unlike any other track that you've released. Drugs with Holy Water.
My girlfriend begged me to release that song.
Bro, it's like lo-fi, hip-hop, trap. You got fusions of so many different genres here. We've got textures like on many different levels. Like, it's thick.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it.
So that.
Let's hear it.
God damn it! That's another like year, maybe 6
Is
months.
it?
6 months long, yeah. Because so we made that in LA.
Yeah.
Holy Water, my boy, we call him Rolla.
Yeah.
He what did I have a subscription to? Oh, I had a subscription to what is that thing they get all the people that are like really good at shit and they all do tutorials or lessons? Masterclass, yes. I had a Masterclass subscription, and the Timbaland one had dropped.
Yeah.
And Timbaland does the beatboxing and then makes the beat over the beatbox.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And Holy Water was watching it with me, and he was like, I want to try doing something with just my voice. Mm-hmm. So all those layers in there
like
are
the
all...
first minute?
Yeah, that's all him singing. That's all his voice.
Really?
Nothing else in there. Yeah. There's no other sound in there other than his voice.
That's fucking
even
crazy, dude.
Even like that real reverb, like breakbeat drums.
You had pads or something.
Nope. No, none. That's all his voice. And
that's
then
really impressive.
Yeah, so he did that. We tracked it in my studio in LA, and then I did the drums. And then it was the same thing that happened with Supernova, where we were like, do we put another verse on here? Or we were just like, fuck it, just repeat the whole thing. So I literally just copy and pasted it. And then, I changed up like the instruments and took some shit out. But yeah, and then I wasn't going to release it. I asked him if he wanted to release it. He was like, no. Like, if he wanted to release it, you know, but he was like, it's not really my brand, my style, because he was like going through a change in like management or something too, I think. So it just wasn't a good time. Yeah. And then my girlfriend just wouldn't leave me alone about it. So
it's Roxy.
So,
that track needed to see the light.
Yep. So
I love that track though, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I don't know if you've seen the video for it.
Yeah,
but
of course. I was about to ask you about
just
that.
the lava lamp.
Yeah.
So
it's dope.
So Roxy and I were like super high one night at
Always
the house. At the house. And my mom, for my birthday last year, she bought me this big ass lava lamp. And because lava lamps are cool as fuck, first of all.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
And then the reason that she did that is because we had one at home at my parents' house that was huge like that. And my dog, when he was like younger, he knocked it over. Mm-hmm. And the lava lamp seeped through, like the oil seeped through the floor into our basement and like onto my studio gear.
Oh my god!
So it wasn't like super bad or anything, but like I didn't know that because it's oil, and you know oil can go through anything really.
Right.
And they have like hardwood floors, so it just like kind of went through. And so she sent me that lava lamp for my birthday, and we were listening to the track, and I was like, and it was just like completely dark in our living room other than the TV.
Yeah.
And the lava lamp was like forming this like super cool shape, and we were just like watching it stoned, super stoned. And
Most typical situation.
Yeah. And so I was like, yo, how crazy would it be to make a video just out of that lava lamp?
Yeah.
And like that's just the whole thing. Like people are just watching this lava lamp form these shapes, and then like, because I mean, how often do you see a lava lamp like start being a lava lamp? Like, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like you just see a lava lamp and it's like
on.
bubbling and on, and like, you know. So I was like, well, why don't we just record that? So I literally went. This is like a 30-minute process, still super stoned. The whole video
took action though.
Yeah, so the whole video is probably like an hour long. I went and got my laptop, I did it on my webcam that I use for streaming, and just sat there.
Nice.
And like we couldn't turn any of the other lights on in the room.
Yeah.
Or anything, because like I didn't want to fuck up the image of the
Right.
lava lamp like glowing on the wall.
Right.
And then yeah, that's how that came about.
I love that, man.
It's a cool track though. I really like that track. I'm glad we released it. I feel like nobody really knows why, but yeah, now you have the story.
It's a good track. Thank you.
Thank you,
We'll
bro.
clip that one. We'll share that one later.
Yeah.
Well, it's 2021 now. What can we expect for the rest of this year from you?
Oh my god, I got so much new
I
music.
mean, do we have tracks that have been working on a year? Like, do we have a fuck ton of tracks ready to go here?
Yeah, we actually do. Peligrosa is a year, I think.
Just show me this track, guys. It's new age shit. Like, it's dope.
Peligrosa is a year, I believe. Got a lot of Latin influence stuff. We just cleared that sample for a Detroit classic. So that one will probably be soon, maybe in March.
Okay.
We just got to figure. We got to sign the contract for it, get the royalty agreement set up, but the sample's good to go.
There you go.
And then I'm trying to think, what else do I have? I think I'm working on 2 projects, like 2 albums. I'm working on one with another producer. His name's Forbes.
Okay.
We've been bouncing ideas back and forth. I've been sending him tracks, and it just got to the point where we were like, why don't we just do an album or like a little EP together?
There you go.
Because we have Peligrosa, and then we have like 4 other tracks in the chamber.
As someone who doesn't like to collab, look at you.
I mean, they're all coming from me, and I'm starting all the ideas. But we have that, and then I think I got a few. I got 2 with Tanner Dixon from Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, bro. Dude, I've been seeing him. He seems pretty talented, huh?
Tanner's the man, dude. If you want to hear a really, really, really fucking good producer, especially like house music, it's Tanner.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think, who else do I got? So me and Bread Dough, artists here from Chicago, we've been tossing around an idea of doing like a like a dance hall, like Afro fusion type album. And then just my individual house releases maybe. And then I played you some dirty RL Grime shit earlier, so that'll come eventually.
So a continuation and a maturation of what you released in 2020, it sounds like.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly that.
I love that.
I'm trying to think. We got a few hip hop records too.
I was gonna say,
One.
Can we get Tokyo Rain Part 2 or something like that?
Yeah, I mean Josh, I just got to get him back in the studio, so I got some beats for him. So. Dude, the video
so good.
Oh my god! So the video was gonna be so good for that too.
Oh no! Don't tell me COVID got in the way.
No, it was a budget thing more so.
What was the vision?
So the vision. Oh my god! So I should low key be a video director. I think like I'm gonna start doing this once we get the funds for it.
Yeah.
So the video was gonna start because it's lately I've been living life stress free. We were gonna take it to LA, and go to the Santa Monica Pier, and Josh was going to be in the Ferris wheel.
Nice.
with a girl feeding him an ice cream cone or cotton candy.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been living life stress-free.
Yeah, that's stress-free.
So just like having a good time, just in LA with the sun and like the beach and just like there was a bunch of other shots.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's also why I'm trying to go so hard in music, so I can like get the budget to like shoot music videos how I want, because the number one music video that I want to shoot the video for is Function.
Yo.
Bro, if I can get the budget to do Function on the scale that I want to do it, it'll be one of the best music videos of all time.
Fuck yeah.
Straight up 100%. Because it's like an actual story. It's like an actual like short film.
Yeah.
It's not just like a music video.
It's got to be like that.
Yeah.
I've always had a soft spot for music videos.
I love them, bro. I love them, especially when they're not just like rapper videos, like, or like, you know, people dancing in the club. Another one that I want to do is Supernova.
Yeah.
Supernova, I had a super sick concept for Supernova too.
Mm-hmm.
It was gonna start with a dude in a record store picking out a record, and like Supernova, like the cover is like glowing as he looks at it, and then he like comes up and checks out, and I'm like the cashier, and then
This is good as fuck.
bro, it gets pretty good, and then it's an old dude, so he like takes it home, puts it on the record, and then like there's a girl sitting right there, and then like you know, the line is like Izzy's pretty much like texting this girl, you know, and so like the chat bubbles pop up that he's like texting her, and then she she takes the record, or she Shazams the record, and then it's a lot, bro. It's a lot. I actually don't want to give it away because I'm actually still probably gonna get it shot. Because it's so fucking fire. Like I get excited talking about these video ideas because I feel like people don't do enough for their videos. Like DJs especially.
It's always usually pretty simple.
Yeah. But this one's like a pretty complicated. It's like the transformation of from vinyl to an MP3.
That's so sick.
Too. And then like the record changes hands essentially a bunch of times.
Generations.
And then it changes generations, changes hands. This person, she takes the record and gives it to somebody else, you know, and all you see is the hand switching with the record, and then a dude walks up to like Spy Bar. Or something, you know, with the USB or whatever, and then I'm the DJ playing it right at the drop. You know, he's like, "Yo, you should play this."
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
good.
COVID did get in the way of that one.
A little bit.
And then I just need to find a choreographer to do the UK. I wanted to do choreography, like a certain have a choreographer do the UK garage part.
Dude.
So.
God damn.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a really good one.
Okay, well I'm looking.
I mean, all of them are gonna be good, but Supernova is probably the easiest one to shoot. Like for Function, I had to rent like a school gym and a bunch of other shit and get old people and
Wow, that's awesome though.
It's a lot, bro.
Good for you. You got
Thanks,
you got a lot of creative outlets, don't you?
I try, man. Because if you're not like surrounding yourself in creativity 360 degrees, then there's a chance for it to escape.
Love it, man. Well, one thing I've been asking a lot of people, of course, this 2020 was a really tough year for the music industry.
Yeah.
I guess a general question for you, what state do you think we're in right now? What is the state of the music industry right now? Are we on hold? Are we maturing? Are we regressing? Are we progressing?
I think the industry that's really been affected isn't necessarily like the music industry. Mm-hmm. It's the live performance industry.
Yeah, well said. The business aspect of it, right?
Yeah,
the
just
venues.
like the performance side of it.
Yeah, totally.
I definitely think we're gonna regress in budget. Maybe, I hope not. When everything opens back up, you know, like club budgets and like, you know, festival budgets, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that those fees will be a little lower, but hopefully not too much lower, because I think everybody's going to be really stoked to go out again.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think they'll definitely bring in a lot of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're just paused right now for live performances. This is the time for artists to sit and build their catalog and really get a fan base going. You know, like we were talking about earlier, like, you know, really putting yourself out there, get a fan base going, and try to get in front of more eyes, I guess.
What would be your advice to people that are maybe like thought they wanted to get into this before, and then this all happened, still go for it? What can they do to differentiate themselves?
I mean, just grow your brand, but more importantly, make sure you have a solid fan base. If I could go back and do one thing, it would be to make sure I have like 100 solid fans.
Yeah.
Like before I did anything else. You know what I'm saying? Because 100 fans, you sell something for $10, that's $1,000. And it's not even the money thing. It's just like if you have 100 fans that will buy anything, that's 100 fans that'll repost anything, and they know probably 100 people. You know.
Yeah.
So like, and that's how music gets spread. You know. So
it's true.
That would be my advice: is grow your fan base and learn your craft.
I couldn't agree more with that, because what we've dealt with in the music industry and social media, at least in our generation, is oversaturation.
Yep.
And things that have been exposed this year, that not everything you see on the internet is true. That's something that we all knew, and now it's been proven and spoke about by these media outlets, right? Like big tech's exposure and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
People trust what they see on social media less than ever, and what they trust more is word of mouth. I mean, we're back in the 1950s, bro. Like, I believe what my friends send me. Like, if they send me a song, I know it's good, and I'm going to listen to that. I'm going to support that artist.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Having real fans is so important.
Yep.
Because those are the people who are going to go to bat for you. You can only sell yourself so much.
Yeah, 100%.
You need help, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you need help.
It's so funny because every time I release a song, when I like go to like promote it, I feel like, have you seen that meme of that otter with the little guitar? Yeah. That's how I feel every time. I'm like, hey, I just released a new song. Can you please go listen to it? You know?
It's so sad.
I've put 100 hours of my life into this to this non-tangible thing.
Yes.
Like, please go stream it.
So true. It's always hilarious. Sad, but realistic. When you like see people, like we will like post a video or a picture of like something so stupid and it gets 100 likes. Yeah. And then we post like a song that we've worked on for so long and it gets like 5 likes and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Is this the Facebook algorithm?
Fuck yeah.
Give a fuck?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It's the reality though.
Yeah, man. I deal with that all the time, and I think about it all the time. I'm like, dude, you could post a picture of a chicken nugget that looks like a dick and get 500 likes. Yeah. You could get 5,000 shares and 5 million likes.
Chicken nugget looks like a dick. Yeah.
Straight up, bro.
That would do well. Yeah, I'd like it.
But straight up, man, that's how it is, and it's just like it almost makes you think if like these algorithms are like against wholesome content.
It's hard to say. Yeah. When they promote so much of their platform to be organic, and realistic and authentic. But I mean, the fact of the matter is
none of it is.
None of it is. And it is a means. It's not a means to an end because it's so important. It's so important. And that's the thing too about like going all the way back to live streaming. The fact that we still are able to connect with fans, even if it's one person that really cares, 100 people that really cares, 1,000, 1,000,000, whatever it might be. We can still do this. Like, this shit can still happen. And that would be my advice to people. Yeah. Is, like, it's just a roadblock, man. Like, it's just a detour.
I mean, yeah. And, I mean, 100%, if you think about it this way, like, if you wanted to be a DJ, like, if you wanted to be just an open format DJ who doesn't produce... Yeah. Like, then yeah, you're fucked. Like, tough shit. Sorry.
Like, you really
but like, if you really want to get into this and really DJ, like, you don't really. The only thing you can't do is perform live. Yep. You know, and like, you can do it on Twitch. You can do it, you know, yeah, pretty much on Twitch. But you can do it on Twitch, on your Instagram, you know, whatever, however you want to do it. But like, make music, you know, and you can still release. Like, none of that's affected, you know. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's kind of the cold hard truth. Yeah. Is there's going to be, I mean, how many venues that you were a resident DJ at have closed now?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Right, except like well-funded clubs.
Oh, you're talking about like permanently. Oh,
well, I mean both. I mean permanently though a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah, unless they were like some type of like restaurant / club, or unless like you said they were really well funded. Yeah, they're gone. Which is super unfortunate.
In a big city like Chicago, if we lose places like Concrete Cowboy and Bottle Blonde, right? Yep. Like, they were staples in the open format DJ scene.
Yep.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Something will maybe replace them in the future, but that competition's gonna be stiffer than it ever was before.
Oh yeah, for sure. Concrete
I mean?
Concrete was one of my favorite places to play too, because they just had such a crowd that was like, we're down to hear whatever, just make it lit.
That's where you played All I Want for Christmas Is You, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I would see you play there, you would drop fucking Tech House, you would drop Bass House, you would drop Travis Scott, you drop whatever it might be.
Yeah,
it
straight
all
up.
works.
All works.
But that's going to be the thing, too, I think what people need to realize is, like, we're going to get back down to the basics of this shit, and it's going to be enjoying music.
Yep.
But, I mean, I'm optimistic for the future, man. I really am. I'm realistically optimistic. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want this timeline to be shorter than what I want this to be over with tonight.
Yeah.
Like, I want you and I to go to the club right now.
Yeah, straight up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, like you said, let's use this time to our advantage in the studio, like building our brands, building our followings, finding out what our true passion is.
Yeah.
And I just hope that when this all comes back, like, it's going to be a bright and optimistic and fulfilling scene for everybody involved in every single level.
Yeah. I agree. No, I 100% agree. If we could go to the club tonight, that would be lit.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
It'd be so tight.
Well, this has been such a great time, man. It's always such a pleasure talking to you. You know how much love and respect I got for you, bro. Like,
Thank you, bro.
And it's so cool to see you, like, just getting better, dude. Like, you're always, like, been a good producer to me, but, like, when you sit here and explain this shit to me, like, from our last interview, how you kind of talked about your music, you're on a higher level.
Yeah.
You really are.
That's
how you're
right.
explaining this, like, your strategy, your structure, your release, your business mindset, your brand, everything. So I want to acknowledge you for that.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that so much. Means a lot because, you know, like, a lot of people don't look at that stuff, so I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
It's important. It's important.
Thanks, dude.
Well, where can we
Appreciate
find you on social media, too? At Apollo XL?
No, I changed it.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. It's I'm with Apollo now.
Oh, shit, you're right. I didn't even notice that.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah.
Why'd you change it?
Because if you tag me in something, there's a chance that you're with Apollo. You know? And no. So this is a funny story. So my boy Darian, he comes out with us all the time, and he was late to the club one time, and he went up to the bouncer, and he was like, "Yo, I'm with Apollo."
Oh.
And the bouncer was like, "Everybody's with Apollo, bro." Everybody says that. And so that's where I was like, he told me that story, and I was like, I should put that on a fucking shirt. I'm with Apollo.
Dude.
And so it's on, it's on my hats now.
I love that.
And then I was like, I should just make that my Instagram handles too.
Yeah.
So like when, if, somebody tags me in the club, I'm with Apollo, yeah. Yeah, it was going to be Apollo's my favorite, but that was a little too... Yeah.
It's clean.
Yeah, we thought that, and then my boy, my mix engineer Ferbs, has his email is Ferbs is my favorite. So he was like, "You're stealing my thing," I was like, "Fuck out of here." I was like, "All right, you can use it, but you have to do something with it, or else I'm gonna take it." Like,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, all those that are lovers of good music and motivated people, make sure you go follow Apollo at I'm with Apollo.
I appreciate you,
Oh,
bro.
man.
Thank you.